Now we want to transition to the chopper. What you want to look for on in the chopper is the knives on the chopper. You want to see if any are bent, if they're broke off, if you have bolts missing. And if they're well worn, they need to be either reversed or taken off and replaced. They need to be, you have to replace one on each side to keep the chopper in balance. If you have one broke, replace two. Now you want to go to the stationary platform under the chopper where the stationary knives come up through it. You want to look and see if any of them has a hole knocked in it where you've had debris come through it and knock a hole that will get into your stationary choppers and knives, and it will break them off. And then you want to go to the stationary knives themselves. The stationary knives, you want to make sure that they will slide up and down as they need to. They can be moved in several different positions. You want to make sure that they're in the position that you are running your crop. Also, you want to check for if any of them are bent or if they're broke off or anything along that line, and see if you have anything debris stuck in them where they cannot go up or cannot go down. Next thing we want to look at are the rails that go to your shaker system. There are several things on the shaker system that you need to look for. Basically, the first thing you really want to check for are the rubber bushings in the shaker system themselves. They will affect your rails and your sieves. The rails, basically what will happen, it will break the wells out or it'll break the bolts out where it is shaking, it's out of time.
Now we're going to talk about sieves, the timing of the shaker system, and the cleaning of the spreader system. The sieves. The purpose we're looking at the sieves especially is because this is what we use to clean the grain, to separate trash from grain. The sieves are very delicate. They don't take much out of rhythm or out of place. They break. So we look for fin damage, fin missing, rails, the boxing of the sieve, it cracked or breaking, or any other part of the sieve that's coming apart, the handle's breaking, lots of little things. There's different types of sieves according to the specialty type of grain you're wanting to do. We have 1 5/8, 1 1/8, and Peterson's is the most common, though occasionally we run into specialty sieves as well. So as we look into the sieves for damages, it helps to keep the grain a cleaner sample for more money for you. Okay, now we're moving to timing of the cleaning system. The reason why the cleaning or shaker system, we call it timing, is so critical because the sieves are so delicate. If they get a little out of alignment, they start breaking themselves. So everybody thinks just the bushings alone. If we didn't have the bearings to help hold the linkages in behind the arms, they fatigue. And when they fatigue, they cause the timing to go out of alignment as well as a bushing. Either one can cause the sieves to break, causing you to spend excessive money premature. So we look at the bearing behind the shaker arm, the main drive arm, and the main drive bearing. Then the bushings that holds the sieves in position, the rails for them to make them live longer, to do an excellent job of cleaning. All right, now we're going to talk about the straw spreader system. The straw spreader system scatters the residue out the rear of the machine. And the residue management is what we're really trying to control. When we're doing this, we have multiple types of spreaders, bats that we use. We have rubber, we have curved batchers, we have tall ones, and we have short ones. These help manage the residue that is coming out of the rear of the machine. This residue management wears on the spreaders. It will wear the edges of them off where you cannot broadcast the material correctly. So depending on the application that you need of broadcasting your residue evenly, it could change the way the moisture is in the ground behind the machine. So, but like looking at these bats or spreaders, these are short ones. They're very worn severely because that would cause slippage as it's throwing it and not to broadcast a more even pattern. The taller of these are called tall spreaders. They wear too. All of them wear, and we're just wanting you to watch them. As these spreaders are being driven off of the center of the cone, it breaks or loses bolts. We want you just take a minute, look at them, make sure it's not broke. This way you don't have damage in the field, machine falling off, and you're wanting to know why this fell apart, because fatigue sets in. This is a high wear area. We're next going to look at the straw spreader gears. All right, now we're looking at the straw spreader gears. The gears wear because of the amount of the residue we're managing anymore. It puts excessive wear on these beveled gears. The gears they just wear. We can't change the way they wear or the length of them. All we can do is try to manage the wear of it and watch it. Plus we look at the bearings underneath the gears. The bearings will fail just like any other bearing. These bearings will you hear machines occasionally having problems back here of any machine. They just fail out. The bearings is under a high stress wear. We have to watch it because there's no way we can control what is coming through the machine.